What episode is it?
Episode 4?
Episode 4.
Yeah.
Is it?
This is
Episode
4.
Number
Right.
4.
Shall I be mother?
Yes, mother.
Go on.
Yes, mother.
Yeah.
Welcome to episode 4 of the BAM Comic Podcast. A couple of people talking about comics. There's me, Neil Gortz. There is the very intelligent and lovely Carly.
Hello.
There we go. And then there's the eye candy of the piece, wearing a moleskin catsuit. There is the very sensual Stu Taylor. Hello.
Hello, that's probably the best introduction I'll ever have.
And it's the only one
It's the only
we'll
one.
ever have. Lots to talk about on today's show. What have we got coming up, Stuart?
So you asked me that as I take a cheeky sip of tea.
We're all ill, by the way, and we're all drinking tea and various remedies. So apologise if we hack and cough. Deal with it.
But we've had pancakes because it is Shrove Tuesday today, so we might end up in a sugar coma.
We did. Lots of Nutella.
Imagine that.
So today we're going to talk about the Deadpool movie, which opens in a few days' time as we're recording this. Luckily, or cheekily, Carly and I got to see it a couple of weeks ago. We miraculously blagged our way onto a fan screening in London. So we're going to talk about the movie, give it a review. I know Neil's very excited about that, because you are a massive Deadpool fan, aren't you?
No, let's get over and done with. What else have you got?
So we're going to talk about the Super Bowl.
Sports Ball, yeah.
Sports Bowl.
Yeah, they have adverts. I'm assuming you want to talk about that rather than Beyonce?
Yeah, well, I can always talk about Beyonce. I think Carly might have something to say about Beyonce.
Really?
Yeah.
I do. I
Oh,
love
wow.
her.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. We could go on to that. Then we're going to talk about an article that appeared in the Observer newspaper about the new wave of comic books. Although they don't call them comic books. They call it the golden age of stories with pictures.
Oh, fucking hell.
I know.
Right, okay.
Then we go a bit trashy, a bit of gossip about the recent Angoulême International Comics Festival and the awards ceremony. A bit of Ferrari kicked off around there, which I found quite amusing.
Is that how it's pronounced?
Angoulême?
No, a Ferrari.
A Ferrari?
Oh.
Were you just
Furore?
being Del Boy?
I don't know.
Monch too.
I don't know, it's a furor.
Bon Marie. I don't know. Is it Furore?
Tweet in and tell us.
Furore?
Tell us how to speak good.
Yeah.
Basically, some shit went down. That's
Some
basically
shit
what
went
he's
down
trying to say.
at the French comic thing.
What you guys said.
Right, we'll find out about that.
And then finally, we close out with the return of the Sinister Society of Stupid, which, for the first time, you haven't got a clue who I'm going to talk about.
No.
So I've got some visuals.
Right,
I want to show that to you guys.
It's very exciting.
always useful.
Yeah, and we'll also share this on the BAM Comics Cast Twitter page as well.
It's got a Twitter now.
It's got a Twitter. We have followers.
Hi, all 7 of you. How many
What?
people are following us now?
About 20 odd now. I think.
20?
Look at that.
I know.
Bloody hell. Wow. That's
Next week, I reckon 25.
steady.
I'm pushing
steady. So a full show.
It's a full show, so let's crack on.
Let's get this fucking nonsense out of the way and tell me about the Deadpool movie.
Oh, we're going in with that.
I'm going to go straight into Deadpool.
Right.
Like ripping off a band-aid.
So I know quite clearly you're not a fan of the character. To be completely honest, I've never been that big a fan. I remember reading Deadpool when he first appeared in The New Mutants. Scary thing is, about 25 years ago when he first appeared.
Bloody hell.
He didn't really leave much of a lasting impression for me. I mean, his whole look was kind of a Spider-Man knockoff, but without all the intricate web drawing on it. It always seemed like a bit of a half-assed Spider-Man.
Like a morph suit.
Like a morph suit.
Yeah.
Deadpool, the character, kind of passed me by a little bit. I know when we've been to comic shows, he's probably one of the most ubiquitous.
You are deadly with the words tonight.
I've just got a thesaurus.
Can we have a Scrabble off?
We should do. So he's the most common character we see at comic conventions, I'd argue, along with Scarlet Witches.
Scarlet Witches and Poison Ivy. Sure. Yep.
So yeah, I've never been a fan of. It seems a bit of a lazy costume. Although saying that, last year at the MCM, there were a couple of guys who were dressed as Bender from Futurama.
Yeah.
One was Bender Deadpool and one was Bender Hulk. So I thought that's pretty cool.
Effort.
Way
quite
to
impressed by that.
sully the name of Bender.
But I digress.
Right.
So Deadpool, the motion picture,
Right.
Ooh.
Hit me.
hit you. So I won't go into any background because I think by this point you guys are aware of it. You want to know whether it's any good or not. I would say yes. It's one of the most surprising comic book superhero movies I've seen. Surprising in the sense that they actually kind of do go crass, over the top sense of humour people are kind of expecting from it. It's not a typical Marvel movie, but it's not coming from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's a Marvel movie that's being done through Fox. I personally couldn't see it as coming out through Disney, but they may prove me wrong. They may do something equally as ballsy.
Okay.
But I can sense Carly's itching to kind of pitch in at this point. Someone who's got no prior knowledge of the character, really.
No, I don't. And I think for me, I'm still undecided as to whether I actually like it or not.
Okay.
Ryan Reynolds is obviously...
Fit.
No, actually, he's not.
Oh,
He's not
okay.
my type. But
Right.
I always feel like he just plays himself, just an extreme version of himself in everything that he does.
Okay, I can get behind that.
And not that that's a bad thing, because obviously he fits into some kind of niche and he works well, I think, in Deadpool.
Yeah.
But I'm still trying to decide, is this good as a standalone movie, or is it good because it's Marvel and completely different from anything that they've done before? I'm partial to a dirty joke.
Right.
I did find, and I even Stu was really shocked when I said it, that I felt like it was just relentless. The best thing about it is the soundtrack.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And
You had dick joke apathy, basically, I suppose.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, come on. Like, just over it now.
so how have these steered the soundtrack then? Is it sort of like Guardian style retro?
Yeah,
vibes?
I mean, you said that as well. It's kind of
Yeah.
Guardians. But for me, it's eclectic. Another word for you.
Right.
I'm pulling them out tonight.
Yeah.
My armoury.
You're going to be exhausted.
Yeah. So it opens with Juice Newton's Angel of the Morning, which is quite an unusual opener. And it's a really good title sequence where
Yeah,
it's
everyone's
good.
seen the trailer, right? So everyone knows there's a big shootout on the bridge.
Yeah.
That is pretty much the opening of the movie.
Oh.
And then you
Yeah,
have
it
like
goes in hard.
Yeah. So then you have like the
It's
title
mad.
thing is like a sort of freeze frame of that.
Yeah.
With Deadpool hanging out the car, like giving someone a wedgie. And you got this soundtrack playing. There's loads of little visual gags referencing Green Lantern for one.
Okay, fair play. They
So,
got rid of that elephant in the room.
Yeah, and then they pretty much crack on straight from that into Salt and Pepper Soup, which I think, yeah, go on.
I've got a story about that.
Right. Not many people have a salt and pepper story, so...
Yeah, I've got a few.
Oh, bloody hell.
So,
Soup though, right? We'll stick with
Shoop
Soup.
in particular. I was saying to Stu earlier today that Shoop, if you don't know, is from the Very Necessary album, 1993. I was 12.
We are being schooled.
So you were 12 in 1993,
I was 12 in
and
1993.
obviously you share the exact same birthday.
We were 12.
We were 12.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was 20.
Meh.
yeah, that's funny. So I went down to the local record shop and got Very Necessary on cassette tape.
Yeah.
And I loved it so much that I recorded it onto a blank cassette tape on the off chance that it was going to get ruined, which eventually it did.
Sure.
So I would listen to the whole cassette tape and I knew the words for every song. And I was saying to Stu, which is a little bit shocking that my mum never raised the point with me that perhaps I shouldn't be listening to it, because there were songs on it called I've Got AIDS and
Sign of the
things like
times.
that. Yeah, Sexy Noises Turn Me On, stuff like that. As a 12-year-old, I didn't have a clue what any of that was about, which was obviously quite a good thing. But Shoop was my favourite song. I do know it off by heart, so as soon as that came on, I was like, right, I can get down with this. It's a very good song.
Until literally you were ground down by relentless Deadpooling.
Exactly. Exactly. I was showing Stu some of my lyrical skills earlier.
Oh,
Which we may say for another
I'll
podcast.
save that for the patron, surely.
Yeah, I mean, any movie that includes those songs and throws in Wham's Careless Whisper,
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty good, right?
And some
I wouldn't-
DMX.
Exactly. And DMX, of course, is also in the trailer.
Mhm.
I wouldn't say it's as strong a soundtrack as the Guardians album,
Right.
but it's still, it's pretty good. The movie itself kind of kicks off straight into the big action sequence,
Yes.
and you get the origin kind of told through a series of flashbacks. Well, that
Mm.
keeps going back to the present day when you've got Deadpool on the bridge,
Yeah.
confronting with Colossus and teenage Negasonic Warhead from the X-Men. Try saying that
Yeah.
3 times fast. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, credit where it's due. So, would I like it? See, my problem, and no discredit to anyone who's ever written Deadpool, or anyone who ever likes Deadpool, but I've got this sort of thing that it's a bit like Shakespeare to me. So, like, I like Shakespeare, but back in the day, old Dickie Shakespeare, right, was writing his plays for the common man, and they all loved him for it. But ever since then, it's been leapt upon by, like, this toffee-nosed, like, just set of people. They're like, oh, you must appreciate the bard for his art. And that's not what Shakespeare set out to do at all.
Got you.
Similarly,
Right.
I think Deadpool has been jumped upon by a facet of society that is just completely socially retarded. They think they're in with the joke, but they've become the joke themselves, and just... For me, it's all personified at like Comic-Con. When you see people dressed as like Deadpool and they're like running around being like, woo, I'm crazy Deadpool. And you're like, just fuck off. Like, maybe I'm just getting too conservative for it. But like the joke's kind of been ruined.
Fair enough.
On me, and I can't get into Deadpool. Do you think this movie is going to address that? Am I going to learn to love the Deadpool?
I think you'll learn. Well, not necessarily you're going to learn to love Deadpool. I think you'll like the movie.
It's entertaining.
I think it's definitely, doesn't outstay its welcome. It's what, hour and a half, if that.
Mm-hmm.
It was punchy. Everything was punchy about it.
Yeah.
I really liked the fight scenes, to be honest. They were pretty gory for Marvel.
Again, because you didn't have the expectations. You thought it was going to be like another Marvel movie.
Mm.
Do you like Kick-Ass, though? You've seen Kick-Ass, right?
I had time for it. I had time for it, sure.
Well, very similar to that. I actually prefer it to Kick-Ass.
Okay.
Kick-Ass.
Kick-Ass. Sorry, we're on a British podcast.
Yeah,
for now.
With the Shakespeare thing, I thought you were going to say that in 200 years' time, Toffee Nose...
People will be like, oh, you must perform Deadpool in the park. So, like, it's obviously a collaboration of studios, so it doesn't fit into the Marvel run that's happening just now. Like, so it's outside like Fantastic Four was. So you're not going to see Deadpool crop up in Civil War then. It's separate.
No, well, there's the whole licensing deal where Fox have the rights to the X-Men movies and Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four's died in its arse.
Yeah.
So I think we can forget about that.
Okay.
There was talk about them linking the X-Men and Fantastic Four movies together, but because the new movie did so bad, it's like we'll move on.
Yeah.
So Deadpool's very much part of the X-Men universe. We have two X-Men crop up in it. The X-Men mansion's in it. There are references, direct references. There's probably one of my favourite jokes. Is very
Go on, spoil it.
No, I don't. I'm trying to like say it without
Can
saying.
you spoil it?
No, we won't. Because people haven't seen it, and also, no, we don't need to do that. But I think there's a couple of great X-Men related gags. It's definitely set in the X-Men movie universe,
right?
And I don't know. We've got X-Men Apocalypse coming up soon, and I kind of like the idea of Deadpool turning up. Won't happen. It'd be quite fun.
Know.
You've got Apocalypse. You can grow to giant size. You could totally see Deadpool coming in, spoiling a really deep scene with doing like a giant sized dick joke.
That's just set me off again.
I know. See, I get that revulsion every time I hear that because again,
You didn't like the whole breaking the fourth wall stuff, did you? I don't think.
No, I didn't mind the breaking the fourth wall stuff. In fact, it sort of made it unique, really. And again, like he's really, really good at doing that kind of comedy. Honestly, I've surprised myself. All the dick jokes, and I was, can't we just move on from?
Apparently not.
A dick joke.
Apparently not.
I think we can.
We can move on.
We can move on. So, rating it out of 5 dicks out of 5.
Oh my god.
Fair enough. I will subject myself to this movie for the sake of science and report back at a later date.
You should, just for research purposes.
Alright.
It has its place. I think it has its place, and I would definitely watch it again.
Yeah. And we are very grateful for 20th Century Fox for being foolish enough to get us in there.
Yeah.
Sorry, 20th Century Fox for slagging off your movie.
It's a great movie. I've got a goodie bag, though.
Right, what was in your goodie bag?
There's a story.
Is there a story?
Yeah, so we were given a goodie bag. It's a nice reinforced plastic bag. We've got
a black bag with 20th Century Fox written upon it.
You can hear the crinkling. I've actually kept this for Neil because I know he's a big fan. We've got him a Deadpool beanie.
I would literally rather scalp myself.
And if you're feeling a bit sleepy and you're on an aeroplane, I've got a Deadpool eye mask.
They are official movie items, I see.
They are.
Official movie items. We shall give these away on our Twitter,
Ooh.
unless Neil has any strong objections, he wants to keep them.
You're all right, folks. You
Yeah.
can win these.
Oh, giveaways already.
Giveaways.
4th episode.
So one of the things about the screening, it was actually in a private hotel cinema screening room, so it wasn't big screen, easy access. So this is leading to a point.
And you weren't allowed out. Obviously it was an exclusive, so once you were in, you couldn't leave.
Got towards the end, even though it was a short movie, I was absolutely busting for a piss.
Yeah.
Misjudged it.
Misjudge it. And they did say to stay till the end credits because there was an end credit scene. Speaking of which, we saw one. It was right. Apparently there's going to be an extra one
In the
as
general
well.
release.
Mm.
Okay.
So yeah,
And there was another little surprise.
Right.
credits are rolling up. Trying
Ready
hold
to
it
piss.
Trying to hold it together, thinking, okay, well it's going to be like a couple of minutes end scene. I can get out of there.
Yeah.
Someone opens the door and you see flashbulb lights. Going
Who
off.
was it, Stu?
Who
Who was it?
So at that point,
Yeah.
I thought, fuck, Ryan Reynolds is here. Someone started moving chairs up to the front of the screen. I thought, oh, is they going to do a Q&A? I don't know if I can hold out for this. At which point, movie finished.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds comes in
Yeah.
with Ed Screen and TJ
Hooker.
Hooker.
Yeah.
Got his
Oh,
name.
man.
Oops. Ryan comes through, a couple of the guys from the cast.
Yeah.
Saved it. To do a bit of, answer a few questions, speak to the audience. So at that point, I was leaning over to the 20th Century Fox black bag, thinking if I could piss in it and get away with it.
He was sat at the very end of the back row.
Yeah. And there's no escape,
So-
because if I had to go out, I would have ended up having to walk right past Ryan Reynolds. And I just thought, it's just not going to work.
Would you have touched him if you walked past him, though? Would you have just gone for a quick grab?
No, frankly, if anyone even come any close to me, I would have just ruptured.
I would have touched him.
I'm not
it's
even
I
fair.
would have done.
So I'm really serious. It's like really
no,
bad.
I wouldn't.
So I obviously didn't. I'm still very curious whether it actually would hold water, just for future reference.
It does
So-
look like a very sturdy bag, so maybe you could piss in it.
Hold that hold water?
That would hold water.
So like Blue
Why
Peter,
don't you
Oh my God.
I've come prepared.
test it out?
Well, this is a first.
This is the first. So we're gonna put it in the washing up bowl because quite frankly, this is my carpet. I don't want to get ruined. I have brought a litre of
Oh, for
jug of
fuck's
water.
sake.
Is that the amount that you think that you would have peed?
Do you know what?
A litre.
When I got there, I reckon I did about 2 pints. So
Christ.
it was a lot.
Do you want me to hold your bag aloft?
No, I think we're okay.
Right. Right, that's a solid pint in that
Solid
bag.
pint.
Yeah.
No evidence of leakage yet.
Lift it up.
Oh no, it does. Oh look.
Oh,
look.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Yeah, there is when you
It's
lift
the corners.
it up.
It's the corners.
So, luckily for you, Ryan
Yeah.
Reynolds.
Stu
Okay.
did not stink a piss.
So, thanks again to 20th Century Fox UK. Please do invite us to the X-Men Apocalypse screenings, and I promise not to try and piss in one of your bags.
Or we'll bring a catheter or something.
Or I'll bring a catheter.
Bloody hell. Well, on that pissy bombshell, I think that's all we can say about Deadpool for just now. Let's move on to the Sports Bowl ads.
Mm.
So, the American Soccer Ball Championship Tournament.
Did you stay
World
up
Cup.
and watch it?
No.
No.
I've always liked the idea of staying up and watching it, but no.
Yeah.
I think to really experience it the best way, I'd like to be in the States to watch
You
it.
say that.
Yeah.
So, Carly being our resident American country liver-inner.
Right.
From time to time.
From time to time.
Occasional USer.
Yeah.
So, were you there last year, the last Super Bowl?
Yeah, I've been there for the last 3
Ah.
Super Bowls. To be totally honest, I'm the worst person to ask because I'm one of those British people that lives in a different country and embraces being British even more.
Much like Sting.
To start off with, I've got absolutely no interest in American football whatsoever. It's just a pussy's rugby, as far as I'm concerned.
That's
Yeah.
a box quote.
But everyone loves it. So,
Yeah.
no, I don't have any interest in it at all. But then I don't really have any interest in football here. So,
Fair.
last year I just flipped it on when I knew it was the halftime performance and then turned it right back off again and resumed normal life.
It was Katy Perry last year,
It was
wasn't
Katy Perry last year.
She was
Sign me up.
terrible.
Sign me up for Katy Perry.
Yeah.
Coldplay I clocked off on.
Yeah.
But then again, you said you had a thing for Beyonce.
I love, well, I mean, not so much anymore.
Right, is she sullied?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, sorry Beyonce if you're listening.
It's alright.
She'll
Oh,
bounce
Beyonce.
back.
Yeah, she will.
She'll be bounced back.
Yeah, right.
A mutual friend did point out today she had a picture taken at the end of the night where she was staying at her Airbnb
Yeah.
and she was sat on the couch with her shoes on. Like, Who the fuck do you think you are, Beyonce?
Wasn't it a $10,000 a night
Yeah,
Airbnb?
yeah. And
I was
she's
about to say,
there.
some of the Airbnbs I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There on the sofa with her shoes on. What a fucking liberty.
Rude.
Outrageous.
Not in my
Rude.
house.
No.
No,
That
No.
must have been Sasha Fierce and not Beyonce that
Yeah.
was in fact sitting.
she was letting loose.
Fuck it. Super Bowl ads.
Yes, so it seems to be that the ads and promotions trailers that surround Super Bowl are probably more of a bigger draw,
Sure.
or more of a draw than the sports itself. So did you see any of the trailers this time around?
I did. I watched, I think, a full succession of them. I watched the Bourne one, and referring to Bourne as the perfect weapon is quite funny because weapon's just an idiom for penis here. So
It
referring to
always goes
himself,
back to that.
Yeah.
doesn't it?
yeah, I'm just a
somehow.
big weapon. Yes, you are, Jason Bourne. But comic-wise, Civil War, which was really hyped up. Everyone thought you might see a bit of Spider-Man in that one. But no, it was just more of a sort of quick cut showing you more of the opposing teams rather. Fine, that's all I
Yeah.
wanted.
Whose team are you on? Team Cap or Team Iron Man?
In my conservative way of thinking, I'm quite Team Iron Man.
What?
Yeah.
A Republican?
Yeah, but like from a movie point of view, I'll go Team Cap because that's where the action's going to be.
Yeah, I'm
Carly is sneering
I
at
can
me.
sense it.
Why? Why are you upset?
I just find Captain America like way too vanilla.
Fair play. But what about edgy Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier? A bit rough in the mix.
I do like that storyline between
Right.
Captain America and Bucky, that
Uh-huh.
friendship gone awry, trying
Bromance.
to bring him back again,
Yeah.
you know, and all that type of thing.
Much like us, really, isn't it?
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
My big metal arm clanking about.
But yeah, I don't get the Captain America thing.
You're like, get over yourself, Captain America.
Yeah, just bore off.
Just because you've been frozen for 60 years and all your friends are dead, you know.
Yeah.
Just
Get
smash
over
one
it.
out and just get back on the scene.
Yeah, just stop moaning.
If my granddad
Well, he
was
doesn't moan,
frozen
does
in
he?
World War II and then was revived today, there'd be no holding him back. He'd be straight down the pub.
Straight to the pub.
Straight to the pub. He'd be loving it.
Yeah?
Wouldn't be moaning about, we'd forget Bucky Barnes in a heartbeat. He's gone.
Yeah.
So you're Team Iron Man then?
Yeah, just because I like how showy he is, and I mean I'm going based purely not on any of this sort of like deep Marvel knowledge or anything like that. It's just completely like based on movies.
Well, that's fair enough, that's what it is. I mean, I think with the cinematic universe, you don't have to have a knowledge of the comics. In fact, if you did, it just wouldn't work.
Yeah.
But how do you feel? Because I think we've got to the point now where you have to go in and watch Civil War with pretty much an extensive
Yeah.
knowledge.
They definitely want you to have a side, a picked a side going in.
Yeah, definitely. Go on.
No, I was just thinking about literally how they hashtagged everything at the end of it, like Team Black Widow, Team Vision, Team Captain America, and I just wondered, like, from a marketing point of view, like working in social media, like is someone counting who's tweeted what, you know, and if like perhaps if there's a lot of Visions being collected, or a lot of Black Widows, that would maybe steer a decision or a movie being made in the future.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I was excited to see a bit of Black Panther.
Yeah, he was in the last trailer, wasn't he?
He was in the last trailer, but I'm getting more and more excited at the prospect of seeing him in action.
We're going to have a lot of him in this. I think with Spider-Man,
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to see much of him in the movie. If they show it in the trailer,
Yeah,
that might be pretty much
that might be
all of it.
Yeah. I'm sure he'll play some small but pivotal role. One trailer that I really didn't like, that I know you're fond of,
Oh, I knew
is
what you were going to say.
the Hulk versus Ant-Man.
Get out.
Fuck off.
Get out.
Really?
I liked it.
He bloody loved it.
Yeah.
Oh,
But then
Stu.
I'm a massive Hulk fan, so anything Hulk related I'm going to get excited about, especially in the cinematic universe, because we're not going to see him now till the next Thor movie.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, all right, it's advertising code, I get it, but it was quite fun. Yeah,
Maybe I'm just taking it too seriously.
Yeah.
Maybe I should just take a step back. Do you know what advert I really liked?
Go on.
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one.
Oh, now you can fuck off.
I'm sure the movies are absolutely awful, but I always wanted to see big screen Krang.
Krang. No,
Yeah.
that was a big thing for the trailer, wasn't it? Krang.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's fine. I mean, actually, I like the original Turtles comics from the 80s. They're really, really cool. I like those. When it came on TV over here, I was probably a little bit too old for it, so it kind of...
We weren't.
Soz, we weren't.
Yeah, you weren't. Your target
Twins weren't.
Exactly. God, getting ganged up on. Hey, you guys are totally the target audience for it. But did you see the last Turtles movie? The first Turtles movie?
No. And again, it was that my whole worry about the whole Star Wars thing. Like, I know it's not for me. It's made for a generation younger than me.
It's Michael Bay. It's going to be shite, right?
Of course it's going to be shite, but, you know. That I would sit through this second Turtles movie just to see Krang on the screen.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah. They've sold a ticket.
Are we missing out on any?
Yes.
What other adverts? Tell us.
There was the Batman.
Oh, of course. Batman versus Superman. Turkish Airlines.
Yeah.
Tourist board. You're just looking at us like we just made this shit up, haven't you? Did
You
you
know-
see these?
It does sound mental.
I heard of it. I am so disillusioned at this point. I can't bring myself to watch it. Have I missed out?
I thought they were good. I mean, it goes. I think you'd hate them because you didn't like the Hulk and Ant-Man Coke advert. I think you'd equally hate this.
Right, okay.
So the concept is you've got one for Gotham, one for Metropolis.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's done like an airline advert for that particular city.
Mm-hmm.
The Metropolis one's got Lex Luthor in it, and Gotham's got Bruce Wayne.
Of course.
What did you think?
Oh, I don't know, it's Ben Affleck, isn't it? I find him incredibly irritating.
All the hunks are getting a ripping tonight. Reynolds has got no love. Affleck's getting no love.
I'm ill.
You're ill.
Oh,
That's
you're
what
ill.
it
That's
is.
in your defence.
Ill
so-
and vindictive.
Yeah.
What about Jesse Eisenberg as Lex? I found him irritating.
Oh, God, yeah. I don't know how that's going to work.
I don't think it's going to work, period.
Yeah, he's just too hammy, and it's just so, I don't know, just really, really overacting it, I think, and...
He's a good actor.
He's a very good actor,
Good actor.
but I just don't, visually, he doesn't fit Lex Luthor, and I'm not suggesting in any way that he should be bold and God knows what. I just don't think that he suits the character visually, and I think that he's overacting it.
Yeah, I think one of the best Lex Luthors has been brought to screen was from Smallville TV series.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, you're right.
He sticks in my mind more than Gene Hackman.
Yeah, Gene Hackman just played it for like laughs, and it's that kind of like wacky
60s
Lou,
Batman, yeah.
60s Batman
I
style.
liked Gene Hackman.
Sorry, Gene, if you're listening.
Yeah, when I saw it as a kid, I liked it. But when you watch it a bit older, you think,
Yeah.
I although I'm not seemingly getting on board with it, I am really getting more and more excited at the prospect of seeing Aquaman in this film. And I know I'm in an extreme minority there.
I like Jason Momoa. I'm not quite. Again, I think it might be another Spider-Man in Civil War where he
I'm
might
sure
just
it
be
will
like
be. I'm sure it
walks
will
in
be.
the background.
Like, hey,
waves.
you kids, stay out of my sea.
Yeah, is that tuna? Oh, I forget. I ended up.
What we got?
So there was an article in the Observer last Sunday about the new golden age of stories with pictures.
God, we're a right old bunch of
Miserable
doing
buggers,
this
It's
Yeah,
the
aren't you?
colds. It's the colds that's doing it.
Yeah.
It's written by Andrew Harrison and features interviews with the likes of Kelly Sue DeConnick, Fiona Staples, Kieran Gillen, Jane McKelvey, and Mark Miller. You guys read it?
I have read the article, yes.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really good article. It's kind of nice to see, 4 pages in a mainstream newspaper trying to be a bit more behind it than kind of, oh wow, comics have grown up. And the article itself kind of revolves around that, where 30 years ago, mainstream media was talking about The Dark Knight Returns and Watchmen as oh, look at how these comics have grown up. It used to be 1960s Batman. Now look at it, being really dark and edgy. And we've kind of been in a holding pattern, I think. All the media has perceived comics to be in a holding pattern like that for 30 odd years. And so what Harrison argues is that today's comic books kind of cross a wider spectrum of topics, making them more accessible.
Sure.
A bit more to it than just superhero fare. And he kind of suggests that we're in the punk and indie era of comic books. Where
I can get behind that.
Yeah, so they're kind of outclassing the major publishers. And the comics he talks about, there's a couple of exceptions, Hawkeye, but mainly it's like non-superhero stuff he's picked out, mostly from Image Comics, actually.
I don't know whether I'm just projecting, and fair play for waving the banner, but I kind of think a lot of the comics on this list nominated are just ones that people naturally grow into. So like, your superhero comics, your classics are like the gateway drug. And then I find, certainly throughout my own experience, that I'll seek something out that's a bit different, a bit more indie,
Sure.
the term that you used there. And that's pretty much what makes up this list.
Yeah, when you've got Saga on there,
Yeah,
which you and I have read that.
indeed.
Pitch Planet, it's fairly new, and
Which is good.
Which is good.
Unfairly labelled with Orange is the New Black in space.
Yeah.
Which is not fair at all. It's so good.
Well, I think Kay Sudagonic says she'll take that. I mean,
I suppose
it's a lazy summary, but it kind of gets you in. It's
it's an elevator pitch for
Exactly.
what is a great comic.
So also on that list is The Wicked and Divine, which we've spoken about a couple of times. I have a strange bug walking up my arm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You and your infested house.
Yeah. Yeah, the article kind of winds down with a quote from Mark Miller, who argues that he thinks that superhero comics, we know them, are going to kind of die out. With oversaturation, which I think...
That's a big statement to make.
Yeah. I can't see that happening, I don't think.
Sit down, Miller.
Yeah.
No, I'm very much of the opinion that it's just the comic buyer's journey. I think those classic superhero comics will be around forever, and people will then just naturally gravitate to something that's more niche.
Yeah.
And it's not that niche can't have runaway successes like, Saga has and whatnot, and become the new norm, but I don't know, there's room for everyone.
Yeah.
There's room for everyone.
Absolutely. I think, having a wider variety of titles means it does open up to newer audiences.
Yeah.
When I worked in the comic shop back in the 90s, you would rarely get a woman in a shop, and usually it's a mother with a son.
Yeah.
Or a girlfriend dragged along
And
begrudgingly.
completely out of their element.
Yeah, and then absolutely, because there wasn't stuff that was really catering for them.
Mm.
It was very much an exception. But now, you go into any comic shop in London, and I'd argue that, particularly peak times, it's pretty much 50-50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's great. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, the more diverse, the better. Like I see Miller's point. Like, there's only so many comics I can read about a male superhero battling against robots and mutants and whatnot. So that's why I started seeking a change in something a bit more niche. But yeah, the more diversity breeds the kind of comics that are on that hot list, then fine, bring it on. I think there's room for everyone.
But don't you think it's also TV shows that are now being aired that have originated from comics, The Walking Dead being probably the most prominent that I can think of.
Not a superhero in sight on that one.
No, not a superhero in sight. And The Walking Dead comics, arguably, might be a little bit better than the TV show.
No, I go with that.
At times, I would say so. And because I know that for me, I started reading the Walking Dead comics.
Yeah.
And then the TV show came after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that also has sort of broadened the audience out as well.
So that's serving as a gateway for people now.
And it's a different style. It's not if you're not really privy to comic books at all.
Yeah.
You would wrongly presume that they're all sort of superhero type artwork and storylines and and this, that, and the other. It doesn't cater to everybody. It certainly doesn't really cater to me. And then when you see artwork that you'll find in things like Saga and The Walking Dead and stuff like that, which are obviously two completely different genres, but it's a whole different style of art. And it's interesting and it's much more real.
So Mark Miller was right.
Yeah.
He was right. We're fucked.
We are fucked.
We're fucked.
Holy hole in a donut!
And we're back in the room.
So take us to France. What happened in France? What happened?
Ooh, it's so exciting. I love this one.
Amazing. Well, it's a comic book story, but it actually works as a did they really do that kind of story.
Right.
So, Angoulême International Comics Festival has been going for years in France.
Okay.
Isn't it like the festival or the award that you're aiming for? It's like
Yeah.
your BAFTAs or your Oscars.
Yeah, kind of pretty well. Yeah, absolutely, like Cannes kind of festival for comics, and I think it's well respected. I'd say up until recently.
Yeah, maybe not anymore.
Yeah,
Okay.
not anymore. So it took place recently, and initially it got a lot of stick because in the awards, no female creators were actually nominated in the award categories.
Right.
Not very forward thinking. Actually, it's not even forward thinking. It's not very modern thinking. Considering the amount of female creators that are out there.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not keen on the idea of separating men and female. I think it should all be combined. But I totally get that we're not quite balanced yet.
Well,
We're far from balanced.
Yeah, and that goes on to a whole nother subject matter that you could really delve into, because not only are women underrepresented within comics anyway, but also within Angoulême Comic Festival, they're not represented very well either. To the point that 12 of the male nominees ended up dropping out because they were so horrified.
Really?
Yeah.
Fair play though. Well done, guys. It's good.
Yeah.
It's a good move.
But
Well, that's it. So you would have thought,
Right.
move on,
Right.
take it on the chin.
Right.
Organisers might say, you know what? All right, we made a point. So come the awards night.
you're missing something out there. How did they rectify their mistake when they realised that 12 men had boycotted the nominations?
Go
They decided that as some sort of a commiseration, they would add 2 women to the nominations
Okay.
as a fix.
Right.
But they were women who had been nominated in years previous anyway. So they still weren't really thinking outside of the box anyway. They were just like, oh, let's just wheel some women in that
Okay.
have already been doing the rounds anyway. I mean, it's just completely thoughtless.
Yeah.
Completely thoughtless.
Just literally just leaning over, isn't it? Going, looking back in your file from 2 years ago. And
Yeah.
putting it
Undo
to me.
W for
Yeah.
women. Okay.
Yeah.
Then what happened?
During the awards themselves, the host, French comedian Richard Gaytet or Gaytet. Why did I put on a French accent when I said that?
Sorry if you're listening, Richard.
Yeah.
Tweet
Say
in and tell us how
British.
to pronounce your name.
Okay. A French comedian called Richard
Right.
said he was going to power through the awards since everyone was like really there to kind of have a few drinks, have a dance, have a bit of a party. So he literally rattled through them like, the winner of this award is bum 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 and done.
Okay.
Which I've been to a few industry award ceremonies, and that to me is like manna from heaven because they
Yeah.
usually drag on
Yeah.
for way too long. Acceptance speeches,
Mhm.
pose for photographs.
Oh, God.
So yeah, he rattled them really, really quickly. Understandably, if your name's been read out, you're really excited about it.
Mhm.
And we're in a social media age, so you're going to go on Twitter, aren't you, and go, I've just won an award. Really excited. Are you going to text your friends, your colleagues,
Congratulate your boyfriend.
congratulate your boyfriend?
Fool me, mum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all of this stuff, which is what they did.
Okay.
Great, right?
Right.
However, it was all a joke.
Dun, dun,
Dun.
dun.
So basically, they were fake winners. It was part of this chap's act.
But the fake winners didn't know. They weren't in on the joke.
Yeah.
They genuinely thought that they had won.
At which point, of course, he then cracks on with the proper awards, seemingly oblivious to the devastation he'd wrought.
Yeah, he
Um,
wreaked havoc
Yeah.
amongst
So,
the audience.
Right.
and it went down like a cup of cold sick. And I totally get it. I mean,
So gross. Such a disgusting thing to say.
but I'm right there, right?
No, it was, yeah. Girls were crying,
yeah.
running out, which is true.
Bloody
So
hell.
I'd been gutted. I'd have cried.
Yeah,
I'd have cried.
Oh,
I'm not ashamed to admit it.
I'd have been very upset.
Yeah. So anyway, obviously the organisers got a lot of stick for this. They were pretty unrepentant,
Mm-hmm.
saying that it was in keeping with the independent spirit of most comic creators. I like the way they use the word most there.
And that they'd given him basically artistic license to do what he wanted. And then blamed social media and said that it was a Twitter dictatorship.
Yeah, pretty much they're telling all the fake winners to stop pissing and moaning about it,
Yeah.
which is pretty fucking harsh.
Yeah, but the comedian himself was extremely apologetic. And
Yeah, to be
said
fair,
that-
he did come out and say, like, I'm really sorry, misjudged it.
Yeah.
So yeah, look at that.
That's what happens when you misjudge an audience in a comedy moment.
So when you're thinking about making a joke about the BAM podcast winning an award for best podcast in the universe, so make the joke. Just give us a reward.
Yeah, or just do a dick joke.
Just
Oh,
do it.
man.
It's gone full circle. What else have you got for us in your comic bag?
So we're back. It took a break last week.
Right.
Or last.
Some say a long overdue absence.
You're not a fan of this, are you?
Well, let's see what you've got for us this week.
So we're back. The Sinister Society of Stupid is back.
It needs a jingle.
It needs a
Yeah.
jingle. We're going to do a jingle. Actually, do you know what?
Right.
Let's
Tweet
cut
us in with your jingle.
No, let's do it. Let's cut to a jingle.
Right.
Actually, no, let's not. Do us a jingle.
We haven't got the brain power.
I just
for
realised
it.
the work is involved. No, give us a jingle. We would like any jingle submissions you have for the Sinister Society of Stupid.
All 25 of you,
All
potentially 25.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One of you's got to pull one out of the hat. So this time around, we have... I don't know if I should show you the visuals first, or I should just leap into it.
I'm really excited.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you the visuals.
Okay.
So here we go. This is Ruby Thursday.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I'm a little upset that I missed Slipknot.
Missed is a... Right.
Oh,
Right,
for God's
this...
sake. Well, why don't you describe what we're
reactions,
seeing?
what you've seen. So basically, you're looking at...
Right, imagine if you will, a svelte lady in sort of like PVC trousers and boots.
And naturally her boobs are out.
Naturally her
obviously.
boobs are out in a little crop top thing. And she appears to be wearing a red Christmas bauble over her head. You can't see her face. You cannot see her face. It's just a big red blob. And from the looks of these panels, she has an ability to morph this blob on her head into all sorts of things like a hammer or a big pair of lips.
Oh, God.
Indeed. Or she has been known to turn it into a gun and to project energy blasts. So what you're looking at is actually not something over her head. That actually is her head. She grafted an organic computer to her head.
Right, one of those.
Yeah, made of shape-shifting red plastic.
An organic computer.
Yeah.
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 One of those organic computers you hear about.
So we're in the realms of mad scientist kind of stuff here. So her real name's Thursday Rubenstein. What a coincidence, you know.
Why not Ruby Tuesday? Why Ruby Thursday?
Copyright. Probably.
Fuck's sake. Right, okay.
So she's a member of the Headmen, which is a... Come on, I'm going to bring it back. Which is a quartet team of science and sorcery-based villains.
Those two normally mix very well.
They do mix.
Science and sorcery, yeah.
So she's taken on She-Hulk, the Avengers and the X-Men. She first appeared in '76 in The Defenders, who we obviously spoke about last week in our Marvel Netflix special.
Right.
I'm pretty certain we won't be seeing her in the Defenders Netflix TV series.
Do you know what? I'm genuinely impressed. I didn't think you would find anyone more stupid. And true to your word, this is a terrible fucking villainess.
It's funny, reading up on some of her original appearances. So in the
Right.
comics, she actually tried to run for the President of the United States, which in '76, right? Yeah, woman for the presidency. So I don't know, I kind of think that Hillary Clinton probably read the comic way back when, and was inspired to make a run for the White House.
Sure. She just hasn't got her organic computer on the go yet.
So can she morph her blobby head into anything?
She can morph her
even
blobby
another
head.
face.
Oh, I don't think no. 'Cause if you look at the panels, you look at some of her appearances. Basically, wherever she morphs it, still is like a red blobby mass of stuff. So I
She
guess
hasn't thought this out.
she hasn't thought this out at all. There's no practical uses for it. I just don't understand.
How does she eat?
Good question.
Oh, she has a functioning neck, so I'm assuming she's...
Just troughs it in.
So the thing with the thing with the Headmen, that's a whole other story. With the Headmen, they actually have their heads removed on different bodies.
Right.
So
Oh God, this is just so bloody ridiculous. Sorry, everyone that loves comics, but this is just comics gone fucking
Sorry,
mental.
creator of Ruby Thursday, if you're listening. Tweet in and tell us.
I mean, I wonder what sort of a person you are to even get even close to thinking about that as a concept. Like, what's going on?
I'm going to chop my head off and replace it with a blob that I can control.
Somehow.
It just goes against the laws of survival, doesn't it? The first thing I'm going to do in my conquest to take over the world is cut my own head off. Oh,
I've surprised you.
God, yeah, this is really left of field.
Will you do another one next week?
I think so.
Are you confident that you're going to be able to top this?
Oh, I've got a couple of good ones lined up. I don't know.
Oh, so you've got some
Yeah.
ready.
If you'd like me to come back with this.
I love it. I just think it's the most ridiculous bloody thing I've ever seen.
Brilliant. Okay, I'm going to try and top it next week.
All right.
Are we going to put this on Twitter so that
Yeah,
everyone
we'll
can see how outrageous that
So
is?
what I've just shown the guys is 2 panels and a full body shot of the marvellous Ruby Thursday. We'll put this up on our BAM Comics Cast Twitter for you to have a look at. And feel free to comment.
She looks so bloody stupid.
She does look stupid with her organic head computer.
So that's it, we're done.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening. Please do remember to like and subscribe and leave us a review. It helps on the iTunes charts, even though we were briefly number 1.
We were number 1 in our category last week, so that was amazing.
Yeah, go us.
Go us.
We'll have a cup of lamb sip to celebrate. Thanks again for listening. I have been Neil Gortz. You can find me on Twitter under Neil Gortz.
I have been Stu Taylor, and you can find me under Stu Nami.
And some, if you're very lucky, you can find Carly
On Twitter.
But she's going to make it hard for you.
I will make it really hard. It's Carly Moxie Kim.
Good luck getting that first try.
And also you can find the BAM Comics Cast on Twitter under, I don't know, what's it under?
Bam Comics Cast.
Bam.
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 Bam. See, you'll all be saying it next week. Thanks for listening, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Didn't mention bumming once.
Yeah.
No, I really had to hold it in a lot of the times.
What, bumming?